Hi guys, so I'm going to do a video today that you might find interesting. I was sitting there kind of pondering some topics, what to talk about for my next little spirit talk. And one of the things, I do a lot of relationship reads. That is a big thing that I do. And one of the things that's kind of popped up lately, even in my own interpersonal world, is like, say, dating or people even married who are in relationships, and you are on the spiritual path and you're spiritually evolving, and then dating or in a relationship or in a marriage, maybe the other is not on the same path as you. Maybe they do not understand your newfound path, or maybe even you've been on it for a while and you've been on this spiritual journey and there's so much you have experienced and you are doing all this growth. And one of the things that can be very challenging is when you have your significant other and you would love to talk about all your experiences and everything, and you're like speaking a foreign language. Okay, they don't understand anything that you're talking about, they can't relate. And one of the things I have found with reading people over the years who are on the spiritual path and things like that is their significant other may even find the spiritual path of phase. They may find it silly. They may even make fun of it, and things like that. They may be very challenged in that way, with the person. And that's going to be really hard. Now, I'm going to be straight with you. A lot of times when I talk to people, with spiritual path and spiritual growth and working on yourself, that is number one. That is number one. Kids too. Let's throw them in. Of course, kids are going to be important, but let's just set them aside for a minute and everything. Your spiritual path and your spiritual growth really has to be number one. The work that you do. So if someone is not in alignment with you in some way, if they don't understand you, it's like dating someone and speaking that foreign language. It is going to be incredibly hard on you. And some relationships survive it, just like there are many people who are married. She's Catholic and he's Jewish, and they somehow, have a relationship and a great marriage. I have one of my friends is in, her parents are in a relationship just like that. They've been married for many, 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 many years and everything like that. So sometimes it works out. Sometimes you could be on a different path and maybe the person isn't spiritual at all. Maybe they're not even Christian, they're nothing. Maybe they're atheist, and you're on a spiritual path, but because maybe they will sit there and listen to you and entertain and try to remotely sound interested, or even seeming that they are, because they love you, they're interested in what's going on in your world, then it can work. But I'm telling you, unfortunately, a lot of times it does not. It's going to be really hard if you're up here, growing spiritually, and you have all these interests, and they're down here, in the physical world, just dealing with the regular mundane 3D stuff, and they haven't got a clue about what you're talking about. So it is going to be a big challenge for you. And it is one thing, it's been a challenge for me, even my last relationship, they're just not spiritual. And one of the things that was really hard for me in that relationship is they would always say, I'm unhappy. I'm unhappy. I'm happy with this. I'm happy with this about my life. They just weren't a happy person. And this is really hard to be around because, with me on the spiritual path, I'm actually very happy. It comes very easily for me. I've done the work. I'm at peace. I love what the path has done for me. I've met great people. I've had great experiences. So, I just have kind of a natural joy about me. I'm happy about it. I don't really get down and things like that. So being around someone who's just not really willing to do any work, not really willing to take any advice when you're talking to them about certain things that they can do to better themselves and better their life, and they don't want to have anything to do with it. That's a sad reality, and there's not much you could do about it. It's going to be hard. So that's one of the things I finally said, with a lot of things, but, that was one of the things that really brought me to a halt, was just like, I remember one of the things, like one day he was like, I'm not happy. And I said, it's not my job to make you happy. And that's one of the things that we learn on the spiritual path It is no one's job to make us happy. We learned that on the spiritual path. It is not some man or woman or whatever it may be, whoever you are. It is no one's job to make you happy. Of course, it doesn't mean they can't make you happy, but it's not their job. And that's a little bit of a different saying. I was not put on this planet to make you happy. That's not my purpose. That's not my purpose in my life and stuff like that. I may make people happy reading for them and doing things and this and that, but still, they still are wise enough to know that they have to find it within themselves and everything like that. So sometimes we got to let them go, and that is one of the hardest things to do. Sometimes we got to let them go. But can you imagine if I did go on a dating app, and I put up my dating profile? I can only imagine, hi, I'm a psychic reader, tarot reader. I'm a Reiki master, so I'm all in for distance healing, and I have spirit animals. I have a white tiger totem I named Baipufa, and just the various things I could throw out on a dating profile that would make people run, or that would make people run. I've done a lot of work on my ego. I pretty much squashed it. I've done the shadow work, so I pretty much put my shadow down. I live in the light and everything. I've worked on the Toltec path, on the warrior path. This stuff would scare people. So I'm okay with that. So you won't catch me on there and everything like that, because I the odds of me finding someone just in alignment with me would be hard. But it's one of the things that we got to learn but one of the things that is unfortunate that I see sometimes, with my spiritual people, is there is a tendency for many people on the path to try to hide it. There's already that try to hide their spiritual path. Why is it we feel the need to hide it? Okay, why is it we feel the need? If I read tarot, well, I don't want to scare somebody because they're going to think it's of the devil. Or if I have a beautiful crystal collection, you think you'd want to show that off, but some people hide it like it's something to be ashamed of. Or you've got a bunch of Buddha statues all over the place. Oh, I don't know if I should have company because they may think I'm weird and things, So a lot of people on this path, they're all into it, but they feel like it's something they got to hide, and that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate, and stuff like that. Now, there was hundreds of years ago, I should say, there were Christians who felt they had to hide the path. There were definitely, before it got really popular, because they would be killed. We're not going to be killed nowadays, guys. So why do people hide this path from them? Why are some people afraid, to come out as they are? And I've done posts in the group before about that. Like, do you share your path? But I do have some people, it could be dangerous. They may live in the South, for example, where that stuff is, you don't come out and talk about this stuff, because they'll spread it all over the town, what you're into, and they'll think you're the resident witch, and they might mess with you, so it's unfortunate. So yeah, sometimes maybe we shouldn't say anything about it, but we still shouldn't have to hide in the closet our spirituality and our spiritual path. But there is a lot of people to do that. So one of the things that can happen upon, say, somebody is going out and they're starting to date and starting to get to know people, is they may keep their spiritual path private from the other person. They may hide their tarot decks when they come over, okay? Maybe they hide that crystal collection. Maybe they take those books, that have to do with magic or, herbs and things like that, and they put them, they put a little something over them. And let me just throw my Nicholas Sparks books in front of that so they don't see those, okay? And that's a serious injustice, because, then you're kind of living a lie. You need to think about that. If you're going to be dating and intimate with someone, and that's the time, you should be able to open up, to people and show them who you are. That's one of the things. We hope they do that too. Okay. We hope they do that too. But if we're going to be in a relationship, we want to go, this is who I am. This is me. We get to know each other in the beginning, right? Things like that. And if we're holding back the spiritual path and we're not letting people know who we are, it is a little unfair to them too. But a lot of people on a path like this are afraid to kind of open up, and say, this is who I am. I'm into this stuff. Okay? I'm into this stuff. This is what I'm into. This is what I live for. I live and breathe spirituality. Some may go to a spiritualist church and things like that. Like, I have a spiritualist church in my area. Unfortunately, with the pandemic, I can't go and things like that. But, I know, like, if I was dating, I couldn't take just anybody there, because they would be like, what is this stuff they're talking about? But, and conversation wise, if these are things you want to talk about and explore with another person, and they don't understand anything, but the main thing, it's not even just that, but if they just don't care, that's like, the spiritual path is such a part of you. That's like saying, I don't care about you. Okay. So that is another thing that is going to be a hard part on the spiritual path. I have no easy answers on that, but one of the things that happens, say you're married, maybe you weren't on the spiritual path before, maybe you were running on a Christian path, you were just doing that, your significant others, like, let's go to church, you go to church every Sunday, then you have your awakening, right? And then you get on a path like this, you really start exploring everything, because, and a lot of times what we do is, at first, at the beginning, we want to know who God is. But then we get a little bit further on the path and we realize that's not the true question. The true question is, who am I? That's what we're here to figure out. We didn't come here to find out who God is. We'll figure that out along the way. But the only way to figure out who God is to figure out who we are. That is one of the big major things that we got to figure out along the way. Oh, that's how I'm going to find the answer, is to find out who I am. That's the way I'm going to go in. Okay. So that's one of the key things. But say you're on, you awaken and you've been with this person. Maybe you've been married for 10 years and now you're becoming a completely different person. As you start evolving quickly and your interests change and everything like that. And maybe there are certain things you don't like anymore. Maybe you don't like going to the bar on the weekends, if you still do that. Maybe there are certain foods, maybe you want to go vegan. I'm not vegan myself, but I know a lot of people, when they get on the spiritual path, they start feeling empathy for the animals. And and they also want to be healthy and things like that. So they end up going vegan. Your perception of yourself and of the world changes dramatically, that you will alter certain things that you do. Certain things may not interest you anymore that used to really interest you. And so, you're with this person and then they're like, who is this person that I'm married to? Where did you put my wife? Where did you put her? They're going to be like that and everything. And so it's a challenge. And one of the things I've told people, on the path before, is if something is not in supportive of your path, of your spiritual growth, you have to leave them behind. I know we don't want to do it, we love these people and everything, but if they're not just as much, even if they're not going to support our path, but if they're trying to drag us back down into the 3D and we're trying to ascend, we're going to have to leave them behind. And that is the hard part. That is the hard part that we got to do. I've had to walk away from lots of people over the time. My interests changed and everything like that. There are friends that I've had to say goodbye to over the years because we had nothing in common. Okay, there are certain things, because there are certain tribe that I was meant to find and follow. People that were on the same boat as me and we have the same interests. It's going to happen. And sometimes it's even our significant other and things like that. But one of the things that is a real problem is if, they're antithetical to your path to the point where they want you to give it up. And that can happen too. Okay? Especially people in a marriage and maybe he or she is Christian and they think this stuff is of the devil. Okay, that's going to be a real problem. And some of you may have dated someone who was Christian, or been married and things like that. And then when when they start finding out about some things you've been doing, maybe you've been going to that yoga class and they think there's something funny about yoga. See, there are people that even think something's funny about yoga. That's like the East infiltrating their Eastern gods. They think there's something sinister behind that, or even meditation, that's Buddhist stuff. Aren't they atheists and this, that, the things that they believe, and these worlds can clash, when it happens. And they may want you to give up the path. It's like, well, if you're going to be with me, this, that, well, I'm Christian, I can't be with somebody who's into this stuff, and that is another thing that can happen. And some of you watching may have experienced that on the path as well, that you have done that. But what are the things, I was drawing some cards because you guys know I like cards. Trust in the new path. That's one of the things. If you have just gotten on the spiritual path, or you've only been on it for so long and things like that, you got to trust the path. That's one of the big things. You will meet the right people that are in support of your path along the way. You will meet them. You will also meet muggles, okay? Because Spirit wants you to have an impact on them. Spirit does want you to have an impact on them. But, you're going to meet people that are a support of your path. But also the card, it is safe to let go. Some of them, we're going to have to let go of them, and it's going to be really hard. Notice that light. We're going into the light. That's where we're aiming, okay? And there are anything that, we are gripping onto, holding on to, is going to be a challenge. And one of the messages Spirit want to give is spend time on you. This is a big thing of the path and everything, is that we are going to work on ourselves. Everything is leading here. This is where it is. Remember, it's not about just finding God, okay? It's not about figuring out who God is. It's not just about getting all the answers of the universe. That's not what I came here to do, and stuff. The answer is to figure out who I am. What am I really made of? What am I doing here? What is my purpose? All those what, who questions, okay? But one of the things is you deserve good things. You deserve good people in your life. You deserve supportive partners and things like that. That is very, very important. And I also even drew this beautiful card. Breathe love into your life. The right love will come. If it's meant to be and if it's ready and stuff like that, somebody who is going to support your path and be in alignment with you is going to pop up, is going to pop up. But that is one of the things that people can fear, they can fear, and I know a lot of you watching, if you have not met that spiritual partner, can be like, I don't think I can find someone like me but believe me, there are men out there and there are women out there, definitely you guys, I know there are women out there that are on a path like this, that are into it and so forth, and are looking for partners that are in alignment. But they're hard, are they hard to find? Yes, they are, because not everybody is evolved on the path and everything like that, But, like I said, they don't even have to be into all this stuff, but can they support you on your path and not treat it as silly and not treat it as some kind of fad that you're going through, and things like that. As long as they are just backing you, hey, I support you that you started that yoga class. I support you that you're, getting your Reiki master, all that, are they at least listening to you when you talk to them about your experiences? That's so important, because your partner, they should love you for who you are, and they should be in your corner. That's really the most important thing. But, at the same time, if you're hiding who you are and you're presenting a certain facade and you're keeping all of this away from the other person, you're lying to them. Okay? And you can't do that either. If you're afraid to talk about your spirituality and who you are and certain things you believe, inevitably, when it comes forward, it's going to clash. And you're going to be in for a rude awakening, if you do that. That's why you can't do that and stuff like that. It's real important. And as I said that, what card I drew? Let it out. Let it flow. Is that crazy? As I'm talking about, if you're hiding it and everything, you're living a lie. Spirit's like, let it out, let it flow. You got to come out who you are. And one of the things that I talked about, Marianne Williamson's poem and everything like that, it is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us. And we are here to manifest the glory of God. We are here to shine that light, That's one of the things she talks about. We weren't here to shrink. We are here to show that light. We're here to manifest the glory of God. That's what we're here to do. So if you're hiding your light, that they're not going to know who you are. But sometimes when you show your light, it affects people to transform, just like she says in her poem. So we want to come out, we want to let it out and let it flow, because at the same time it could transform that person. And it does happen. It does happen that, one person awakens first, and then, they're with their partner and they kind of, explain their experiences and things like that. And then that person may, when they catch on to that light, also begin awakening themselves. It definitely does happen, especially with the twin flame phenomenon. Definitely with the twin flame phenomenon, if they both recognize that's what they are. It does happen where both will awaken at the same time. Absolutely. Absolutely, that can happen. But if you hide your light, and that's, if that's one of the main messages I could give you guys, when dating or in your marriage, maybe you woke up, 5-10 years into your marriage, is just come out who you are, share your path, because it's the only way to know. It's the only way to know if you will be accepted. And you know what? If they don't accept you, it's their loss. It's their loss, because you're a great person. Okay? That's one of the things you need to understand. You're coming your spiritual path. You're learning about self-love. You're getting compassion for other people. You love other beings. That light is just going to beam forth and everything. And you may even change the world with various things and the lessons that you're learning. So if you bring all that out and you bring forth all that light and they reject you and stuff, they're not the one. Okay? And that's one of the things you need to understand. They're just not the one. And you can't do that and stuff. Now, I just drew the card, try to do it differently, or time to do it differently. So, if, just like I was saying, if you have been hiding your path from other people, especially those you've been dating, we got to do it differently. Okay, we got to do it differently. We're going to have to start coming out. Hey, I just want to explain to you, I just want to tell you a story. About 5 years ago, I had this awakening experience, and this is what happened. Maybe I was in my living room. I was just devastated. I had something, some dramatic thing happen. Maybe someone died or something, and it triggered some kind of awakening. And then after that, I just saw the world differently. I threw myself into this, that, to really learn, explore, and experience. We got to be able to tell these stories. This is a part of who I am. And you can't be afraid to bring that out. So we got to do it differently. So if you have been hiding, okay, what do we talk about? One of the big things to talk about is shedding that ego. And so it's like, well, I'll just wear this mask for a little while. That's not real. Okay, that's not real. And living a lie is just not the answer. It's never going to be the answer and stuff. And then I just drew the card, what does your heart want? One of the big, of course you want love. Of course you want love in your life. Absolutely. There is nothing wrong with that. And if you watch my self-love video, there is nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting a healthy relationship. There's nothing wrong with wanting someone to love you. And that's why I try to teach. It doesn't mean you're needy. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It doesn't mean you're so broken and devastated you're looking for someone to fill the void. But it would be nice to have a partner, of course, in life. We are here to have relationships with people. That's one of the parts about having a human experience. We are here to have relationships with people and experience certain things. So of course, we're going to live and we're going to learn, and that's what we do. So, but anyway, so there is nothing wrong with wanting that. But, that's one of the things. What does your heart want? What kind of partner, do you want in this world? What is going to make you happy and stuff? And if that person is not supportive of your path, or they are the type of person you can't come out of the closet and admit who you are, you need to think about that. You need to think about that. How much longer can you go on doing that? Some of you watching may be witches. You may be witches. I know I've got witches in my group. I mean, it's 27,000. I know some of you, practice magic in the group and things like that. That's a hard thing to come out with. So maybe I could come out with, my spirituality, this, that. But if I come out, yeah, I'm a witch, I practice magic, put that on a dating profile, okay? You'll scare a lot of people. But, that's the thing, though. You've got to come out with who you are. We got to get out of the broom closet, too, right? That's one of the things. We got to get out of the broom closet and be able to be ourselves. How are people ever going to know or understand what that path is really about if everybody's hiding in the broom closet? Now, but like I said, if you're in the South, I'm not saying be stupid, okay? I'm not saying be ignorant. Of course, there are sometimes you got to stay in the closet to be safe. But if you're, in a place where, you come out or share with people, or maybe even on your Facebook profile, you've got certain friends you could come out with and be, hey, that's totally cool. That's totally cool to be able to do that. But yes, but if you're with a partner, okay, that's not something you want to hide. That's not something you want to hide, because that's your partner and they should be able to know who you are. And obviously being a witch is a big part of who you are and what you do and things like that. You're a magical being. You're a magical being and stuff like that. So, and a witch knows how hard it is to date a muggle. I know they do. Let's draw another card. Yeah, and I just drew this card. Following the path of another. See, that's a big thing, that sometimes, and that's why I love to draw cards when I'm doing a lecture here. The people may convert to their path and give it all up, and things like that, for love. But it's like giving up your heart, if you do that. Well, I'm on this path and everything, however you want to define it. And, but he wants me to go to church with him, and then you start, well, I really love this guy. Maybe I'll just convert to Christianity. I'll just get baptized and give up. Well, you can't do that. That's your heart. That's your heart. Too many people they do that, and then they're unhappy and wonder why. And say, that relationship doesn't work out, and everything. And then what do? You want to get right back on the path, So we can't follow the path of another. Just, I want this relationship to work out. So whatever path they're on, I will be on it. It's not going to make you happy. If that's not what you believe in, or that's not what your heart is, that's not going to work out. One of the things I learned, Carlos Castaneda, he talked about the path with heart. Okay, that is a big thing. That's the only path that's worth pursuing, is the one where your heart is on it. You don't follow the masses, that are just following because everyone else is. And that's one of the things we learned on the spiritual path, is so many people are just following a path. They don't know exactly why they are, but they're doing it because everybody does it. Well, I think that's what we're supposed to do, because the collective, that's what they do. They must be right. If that many people are on that path, it must be the right one. You know what I'm saying? But as we get further on the path and everything, we realize, no, that's not necessarily, that doesn't mean squat. There's a lot of people that followed one thing or believe one thing, and in our history, countless times that wasn't it, okay? A lot of people believe the earth was flat at one time, right? A lot of people believe that, and then we've got Galileo and Copernicus, and they're talking about the earth is a sphere, the earth is round, and things like that. And, we have people, we're a heliocentric universe, not a geocentric universe, and everything. And they're like, what? And all this stuff. Everybody believed a certain way because this is what they wanted you to perceive. Because, okay, in this book, okay, it says this is how the world was created, made this and that. And that does not support, everything surrounds the earth. We're the center of the universe. What they're saying doesn't support it, so put them in jail. That's pretty much what happened. So, just because everybody believes something, just because everybody is following something, it does not mean it's true. And that's one of the things we learn on a spiritual path. So we got to be kind of daring, and we got to be bold. And sometimes we're going to believe in stuff that nobody else does, but we just know it's the right thing, and things like that. So that could be a challenge. But yeah, that's a big one. Following the path of another. Just because your partner is on one path, and they want you to join it. If that's not where your heart is, you can't do it. You can't do it. It's like trying to eat food that you hate. I really don't like zucchini, and you can put as much butter and salt on it as you want, but I'm not going to be able to eat it. That kind of stuff. If you can't stomach something and it's not in alignment with your spirit, you can't do that. That's just the way it is. No easy answers on it, guys. I know I'm pretty much telling you you're going to have to let them go, but the main ones is if they're not in support of your path at all. If even if they make fun of your path, they tease you about it, that's going to hurt after a while. At first a couple little things might be funny, but if they're always mocking you and this and that, and everything, you get in a fight, why don't you just go in your room and chant some mantras or something, just stuff like that. Just go chant some mantras, just do that. Just go get your rose quartz and calm down. If you've got stuff like that going on, you're going to have a real big problem on the path with them. It's definitely going to be a very big problem. So you want somebody who takes you seriously. You are serious about the spiritual path. I know a lot of you, if you're watching, I know you're serious about the spiritual path. You're my readers, you're my healers, my spiritualists, you're, into all kinds of stuff, various things on the path. So if someone doesn't believe in you or take you seriously, it's just like for my readers, my psychics. If you're seeing someone and they don't believe in psychic phenomena at all, and you're trying to tell them, no, I do have a good intuition. I know how to read people, this, that. If they totally don't believe in you, that's going to be a problem. If somebody doesn't believe in Reiki distance healing, that you've actually healed people and made them better, and they're like, no, only a doctor can do that, that's going to be a problem. Various things are going to be a problem. That crystals can help heal and charge energy and, just whatever various things that you believe in. You've got a ghost story and they're like, that's all in your head. And it's like, no, it was a ghost. It's going to be a problem. Okay. It's especially if they're discounting you, in your path and things like that. It's going to be a problem. But if they're willing to listen to you and really, try to understand you, and things like that, maybe they will, get a couple books that you've read. You know what? I'll read this stuff and I'll kind of look at it and kind of see what you're talking about so I can understand where you're coming from. Then that's great if they're willing to learn. And you can have an impact on someone, just like I was saying, when you shine your light, you may have an impact on a partner for them to change and them to get on the spiritual path. As a matter of fact, that may be why you two come together. That happens too. That happens too. It happens, how frequently I wouldn't be able to say, I do not know. But I know it does happen where one partner, I've read for many people who, even men, I've done readings for men, and she was the spiritual one and made an impact, but they broke up, and then I'm reading them, and now they're on the spiritual journey. Like, she had an impact on me. She changed me. She was into all this stuff, and she got me into it. And now I'm just looking for answers and stuff. So I have read for men that were impacted by a spiritual female, and it changed them. So ladies, don't think it's not possible, okay? Because it does happen. It can happen. It just be the right woman can change any man, okay? The right woman can change any man. It can absolutely happen. And that's what we want to do. And that's one of the reasons we can't hide our stuff. We can't be hiding who we are. I was even, one of the things, just joking around, but, just like when I went for a new job and everything, it's like, if they search the internet, they're going to easily find who I am. They're going to find my YouTube, they're going to find my page, they're going to find my website. I don't hide who I am anymore. I do not care about that. It's like, and if they don't like it, I don't give a damn, because I'm not going to hide who I am. And that's the way we got to be at a certain point. That's why I tell you, come out of the broom closet. Unless you're in the South, okay, I understand. Some places, maybe you don't talk about it. If it has to do with your safety, I'm all for hiding it. But other than that, with your friends and your family and things, you should be able to come out as you are. It's the only way they can maybe learn about the path and transform themselves. Just like, say if I had a friend come over and they see, oh, I got a tarot table that could scare anybody. But, they see this deck of cards and they're like, ooh, I've heard about that, but isn't that bad? This is a good opportunity to educate them. Well, let me educate you and explain how it works. Matter of fact, would you like a reading? Let me show you how it's done. There are ways we can change people and things like that. So, we can. But the stubborn ones who want to think you're silly, no, you can't. No, you can't. And you're going to find it's really hard, when they're stuck in the 3D as well. If they've got that ego, if they're still doing all those same things that you were doing before you awakened, okay, they're making all the same mistakes. If they're all, in that, if they're trapped in the collective, watch my foreign installation video, to get the full depth of being trapped in the collective conscious. If they're all stuck in the program and everything, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard, especially if they don't want to walk away from it. Hey, not everybody wants to walk away from the program. That's one of the things. As a matter of fact, with the foreign installation, there are people that would fight to the death to protect it. That's the sad truth. They will fight to the death to protect it because that's what they're all hooked in and they believe. So don't hide yourself. That's one of the main things. And, I firmly believe that when we let go of the wrong ones, especially those that are not in support of our path and who we are, because we are the path. And that's why I tell you, hiding the path is hiding yourself. You are the path. That is what you are. That is who you are. You are the path. So, hiding it and everything is hiding who you are. And you'll know it. And I know some of you will watch this and be like, that's what I did. That's what I did. And it was awful. Just like one of my people in Mentor Group, I remember she was dating and things like that. She's a lovely girl, yet everything. But, the path and everything, it wasn't something really could come out with it, everything. And one of the things she said that really stood out to me is, but he didn't see me. And if you're going to be in a relationship with someone, you want them to see you. You want them to see you and stuff. And you want to be able to see them too, right? Okay? You both want to be able to see each other. That's the key thing. This is why twin flames are a hot thing, because they see each other. Okay? So that's what you want. So if you're with someone and you're putting on some kind of facade and everything like that and a certain personality and you're hiding and all this back, all about your beliefs and all about who you are and what makes you feel good and happy, they can't see you. Okay? And you got to hold out for the one who can and stuff. I know they're hard to find. I know it's hard to find someone in alignment with you, but won't it be worth it when they find you? I do hope this helps.